My name is Reese, and the day I lost everything didn't come with a warning. It came with a giggle. I was supposed to be at a florist in downtown Chicago, picking roses for my wedding, but a splitting headache sent me back to my Lincoln Park apartment early. That's when I saw her car in my driveway, Lila, my sister, who should have been at her art studio, not in my home. The front door was ajar, and soft laughter floated down from upstairs. My bedroom. Each step up the creaky stairs felt like wading through quicksand, my heart pounding with a truth I wasn't ready to face. I pushed open the door, and there they were, Lila and Caleb, my fiancé, tangled in the sheets we'd bought together at a flea market last spring. We should tell her soon, Lila whispered, her voice sweet and careless. After the wedding, okay? Caleb murmured back. My hand shook as I flung the door wide. Lila gasped, scrambling for a blanket, while Caleb just stared, his face pale as the Chicago snow outside. Reese, this isn't, Lila started, but my voice cut through, sharp and foreign. What? You were going to wait until I was Mrs. Caleb before telling me you're sleeping together. Lila's eyes filled with tears, her go-to move since we were kids. 3 months, she choked out. And I'm pregnant. The room tilted. 3 months, while I'd been sketching table settings, writing vows, dreaming of our life in a Lincoln Park brownstone. Caleb finally spoke, his voice weak. We didn't mean for this to happen. I laughed, a bitter sound that echoed in my chest. Get out. When they didn't move, I grabbed Caleb's jeans from the floor and threw them at him. I said, get out. They dressed in a rush, Lila sobbing, Caleb avoiding my eyes. As they shuffled toward the door, I held out my hand. The ring. Caleb hesitated, then slid the engagement ring off my finger, his touch burning like betrayal. Lila reached for me, pleading, Reese, we need to talk. I jerked away. Don't you dare touch me. The door slammed behind them, and I sank to the floor, the weight of their lies crushing me. I'd spent years building a life with Caleb, believing he was my future. Growing up, I was the quiet one, the planner, always overshadowed by Lila's charm. She was the artist, the free spirit, the one our parents fawned over. I thought I'd finally carved out something for myself, a stable love, a dream home. Now, it was all gone. But as I sat there, staring at the crumpled sheets, something shifted inside me. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. I pulled out my phone and texted Marcus, my best friend since college. I need you. Now. He didn't ask questions, just showed up at my door, took one look at my tear-streaked face, and pulled me into a hug. Whatever you need, Reese, he said. I stepped back, my voice steady for the first time. I want their dream house, the brownstone, and I'm going to make sure they never have it. The days after the betrayal blurred into a haze of voicemails and ignored texts. My mother's voice filled my inbox, each message more desperate than the last. Reese, come home. Lila's a wreck, and she needs her sister. I finally picked up on the 5th day, my patience fraying. Needs me? She stole my fiancé, Mom. Her sigh crackled through the phone. Sweetheart, they're in love. Real love. And, with the baby coming, we need to be a family. I hung up, my hands trembling. Family. The word tasted like ash. That evening, I drove to our parents' house in Evanston for a family dinner, against every instinct screaming to stay away. The dining room was suffocating. Lila and Caleb sitting close, her hand on her stomach, my mother fussing over her like she was royalty. My father barely looked up from his plate. We're getting married next month, Lila announced, her voice soft but proud. A small ceremony, nothing big. My mother clapped her hands. Isn't it wonderful, Reese? You'll be an aunt. I stood so fast my chair crashed to the floor. Wonderful? She sleeps with my fiancé, gets pregnant, and I'm supposed to throw confetti? My father finally spoke, his tone heavy. What's done is done. We move forward together. I grabbed my purse, my voice cold. Family doesn't betray each other and call it love. Enjoy your perfect life. I walked out, their voices fading behind me. Back in my apartment, I called Marcus. I need to buy that brownstone, the one Lila and Caleb keep posting about. He raised an eyebrow when he arrived, laptop in hand. Their dream house? Reese, that's a big move. I nodded, pulling up the real estate listing. The Lincoln Park brownstone was everything I'd wanted with Caleb. Historic charm, big windows, a garden for summer nights. Now Lila thought it was hers. I have savings, I said, and a favor to call in. Marcus grinned. You're scary when you're focused. At work, I threw myself into my marketing job, pitching campaigns and landing clients. My mentor, Ms. Harper, noticed. Reese, your portfolio's doubled since last quarter. The board's talking promotion. I smiled, thinking of the late nights and coffee-fueled spreadsheets. Just staying focused. After hours, I met Marcus at a coffee shop in the Loop. He slid his laptop toward me, showing Lila's latest post, a photo of her and Caleb in front of the brownstone, captioned, "Our new chapter starts here." My stomach twisted, but I sipped my coffee calmly. They don't know I'm buying it, I said. Marcus frowned. They're meeting the realtor tomorrow with an offer they can't afford. I checked Caleb's financials. Guy's drowning in debt. I raised an eyebrow. How'd you get that? He smirked. Tara, in accounting, owed me one. The next week, I sat in my lawyer's office, signing the final papers. The brownstone's yours, she said. Renovations are up to you. I nodded, already picturing the changes, replacing the vintage crown molding Lila loved with sleek modern lines, ripping out the hardwood floors for concrete. My phone buzzed, Lila's housewarming invitation, sent to our family group chat. Join us to celebrate our new home. I smiled. She had no idea. Marcus texted later. You sure about this? They're falling apart already. I thought of Lila's smug announcement, Caleb's guilty eyes, my mother's insistence that I move on. No, I wasn't sure, but I was committed. Amara's birthday party was a tightrope walk. The backyard was packed with family and friends, all pretending not to stare as I arrived with Marcus. Lila sat in the center, surrounded by baby gifts, her pregnancy glowing under the string lights. Caleb hovered near the drinks table, checking his phone nervously. Marcus whispered, "We can leave anytime." I shook my head. Not yet. Lila waved me over. Reese, feel the baby kick. I grabbed a wine glass instead, watching Caleb slip away for another call. Amara appeared beside me. He's been on the phone all day. Lila thinks it's work. I'm betting bookie. I nodded, sipping my wine. My mother approached, her voice syrupy. Reese, join us for the gift opening. I raised my voice just enough. I'd rather hear about the brownstone, Lila. How are the renovations? Lila beamed. Amazing. The nursery's this soft lavender. Caleb cut in, his face ashen. What renovations? Lila frowned. The ones the sellers arranged. You said. He tugged at his collar. Right, yeah. I followed Caleb when he took another call, staying just out of sight. I'm late on the payment, he hissed into the phone. The house fell through, but I've got a plan. I stepped into view, smiling. Trouble, Caleb? He jumped, ending the call. Were you spying? I leaned against the fence. Karma's funny, isn't it? 1 minute you're planning a nursery, the next you're drowning in debt. His eyes narrowed. What do you know? I shrugged. I know Lila would hate to hear about your gambling. Almost as much as I hated finding you in my bed. Lila waddled around the corner. What are you talking about? I kept my voice smooth. The brownstone. That bay window you loved? Gone. The hardwood floors? Ripped out. The fireplace? Demolished. Lila's face fell. But we chose that house for those features. Caleb stammered, there's a mistake. I pulled out my phone, showing contractor photos. No mistake. See the address? It's the brownstone you lost. Lila zoomed in, her voice shaking. Why do you have these? Why is the address the same? Caleb's lies unraveled as guests gathered, whispering. My mother rushed over. What's going on? I handed Lila an eviction notice. I bought the brownstone the day after you announced your pregnancy. The day I learned you'd been sleeping with my fiancé. Lila swayed, tears streaming. You knew? All this time? I turned to the crowd. They thought they could steal my future and throw a party to celebrate. But this is my house. The bulldozer roared to life across the street, tearing into the garden. Lila screamed, Stop it. My mother grabbed my arm. This is cruel, Reese. I pulled away. Cruel was you telling me to be happy for them. Cruel was making me the villain for not forgiving. Caleb tried to run, but security appeared, citing financial discrepancies at his firm. As they led him away, Lila crumpled, clutching the eviction notice. I walked away, the crowd parting, their whispers trailing me like smoke. Work became my sanctuary. I poured everything into my campaigns, and Miss Harper's praise grew louder. "Reese, you're a machine," she said one morning, reviewing my latest report. "There's a senior manager role opening. You're on the shortlist." I smiled, but my mind was on the brownstone. The contractors had started, tearing out the fireplace Lila had gushed about online. I'd approved a minimalist design. Stark whites, steel fixtures, nothing like the cozy aesthetic she'd planned for her nursery. Tara caught me in the break room one day, her voice low. "Caleb's in trouble. He's been skimming from the company small amounts, but it adds up. They're auditing him." I stirred my coffee, hiding a smile. "That's rough." She leaned closer.
He thought he could gamble it back.
"Now he's packing his desk." I glanced out the window, watching Caleb load a box into his car, security trailing him. Our eyes met, and he mouthed, "You did this." I shrugged, turning away. He'd done it to himself. That evening, Marcus met me at the brownstone, walking through the half-gutted rooms. "You're really doing this," he said, stepping over a pile of old floorboards. "They're announcing the baby's gender at a family brunch Sunday. Amara says Lila's a mess, but your mom's still pushing the happy family narrative." I sighed. "Amara invited me. I said I'd go for an hour." Marcus shook his head.
Brave.
Sunday brunch at a Lincoln Park cafe was a minefield. Lila was already teary when I arrived, blaming hormones. My mother beamed. "See, Reese? Family comes together." Amara mouthed an apology across the table. Lila pulled out her phone, showing photos of their brownstone. "The sellers are renovating before we move in," she said. 3 weeks and we'll be home." I studied the photos, my renovations, my house. "Looks nice," I said, my voice neutral. Then Lila smiled softly. "We're naming her Reese after you, to show no hard feelings." The table went quiet. Even my mother shifted uncomfortably. "No," I said, my voice low but firm. "You don't get to steal my life and then slap my name on your kid like it erases everything." Lila's lip trembled. "I thought you'd be honored." I stood, my chair scraping. "Honored? Try not betraying me next time." Outside, Amara caught up with me. That was intense. I showed her the contractor's schedule. "It's about to get worse. They start the nursery demolition tomorrow." She studied me. "This won't fix you, Reese." I watched Lila through the cafe window, crying on our mother's shoulder. "Maybe not," I said. "But it'll feel good." The dust from the brownstone's demolition settled, but my heart didn't. I sat on my apartment balcony, watching the Chicago skyline, when Amara found me. "Everyone's looking for you," she said, handing me a coffee. "Caleb's in custody, no bail. Lila's in the hospital." The stress triggered early contractions. I sipped the coffee, the bitterness grounding me. Did you know I pictured my whole life in that brownstone? Family dinners, holidays, kids laughing in the yard. Now it's just rubble. Amara's phone buzzed. She hesitated, then showed me the message. "Lila lost the baby." The words hit like a dull ache, not the triumph I'd expected. I'd wanted them to hurt, but this was too much. Eric dropped off a box of old photos from my parents' house. I pulled out one of Lila and me as kids, dressed as witches for Halloween, giggling in our Evanston backyard. We'd been inseparable once. Now we were strangers. Headlights swept across my street. Lila stepped out, pale in a hospital gown, her eyes red. Amara started to speak, but Lila raised a hand. "I need to say something." She looked at the brownstone's ruins across the street, then at me. "I deserved this. I was jealous of you, your job, your life, Caleb. I wanted to prove I could take it. I told myself it was love, but it was just me wanting to win." Her voice broke. "They always took care of me because I was a mess. You were the strong one, the one they bragged about." I stared at the wreckage, my revenge, my pain, laid bare in broken beams and shattered windows. "I became what they thought I was," I whispered. "Bitter. Cruel." Lila wiped her eyes.
"So did I."
"I lost everything, Jamie, the baby, our parents' trust. But losing you, that started long before this." We stood in silence, the weight of our choices heavy between us. "I can't forgive you," I said finally. "Not yet." She nodded. I don't want to hate you anymore. I turned to Marcus and Amara. Call the contractor. Stop the demolition. Marcus frowned. You're keeping it? I shook my head, feeling lighter than I had in months.
No.
I'm restoring it for me. Then I'm selling it and moving somewhere new. Not running. Moving forward. Lila paused at her car. I'm sorry, Reese. Not because I got caught, but because I broke us. I watched her drive away, then turned to the brownstone. It wasn't my prison anymore. To everyone listening, thank you for hearing my story. It's messy, raw, and full of mistakes, mine and theirs. But it's also about finding a way out of the ruins, not just of a house, but of a heart. I'm rebuilding one step at a time, and I hope you find the strength to rebuild from whatever's broken you, too.